Now the first topic for JS2 third term is angles. So, and in this topic they want us to look at what an angle is, the properties of angles, and how to solve problems involving angles. Now, what is an angle? An angle is simply a space between two lines. Now when you look at this diagram closely, you see a line here and another line in this place. We have a space between them because when these two lines meet at this point, we have a space between them. That space is simply called an angle. Now let's quickly dive into the properties of angles. The first one we have here is sum of angles on a straight line is 180 degree. That is 180 degree. Now looking at this diagram, we have AOB to be a straight line. Then we have AOC forming an angle Y, and we have COD forming an angle X, and we also have DOB forming an angle Z. Now we have AOC, which is what? Also the same thing as Y, and we have ACOD, which is also the same thing as what? COD, which is also the same thing as X. Then we also have what? BOD, which is also the same thing as what? Your Z. If you add everything together, which is the same thing as what? The sum of angles. Sum simply means addition. When you add all these angles together on a straight line, it will give you 180 degree. Now this is the second property, which says vertically opposite angles are equal. Now what is vertically opposite angles? Vertically opposite angles are pairs of equal angles formed opposite each other when two straight lines intersect. Now this is a straight line AOC, and BOD is a straight line, and they intersect at what? At O. Now they meet. What's the meaning of intersect? They meet at what? O. Now when two straight lines intersect, vertically opposite, and the vertically opposite angles, which are this and this, opposite angles that are opposite to each other. This angle is opposite to this angle, this angle is opposite to this angle. Simply, and they says what? They said that vertically opposite angles are equal. That means, in a nutshell, X is equal to M and Y is equal to Z. Mathematically, we have AOD is equal to BOC, and the angle formed in what? AOD is X, which is here, and we have what? BOC, which is the angle formed here is what? M. So they are said to be equal. And the other way around, we also have what? AOB, which is angle Y, is equal to DOC or COD, which is happens to be what? Angle Z. This is the third properties of an angle that says sum of angles at a point is 360 degree. If you draw a bunch of angles around a single point so that they fit together with no gaps and no overlaps, all those angles will add up to a full circle, which is also the same thing as what? 360 degree. Here we have XOY, which is the same thing as A, and we have MOY, which is the same MOY, which is the same thing as B. Then we have MON, which is the same thing as C, angle C. Then we have NOV, which is the same thing as what? Angle D. Then we also have what? XOV, which is the same thing as what? Angle E. Now when you sum everything together at a point, sum of angle at a point is equal to give you 360 degree. Now here is the fourth properties of angle, and it says when a transversal crosses parallel lines, corresponding angles are equal. Now what is a transversal? A transversal is simply a straight line that cuts across two or more lines. Now in this diagram, this is a transversal line. It's cut across two parallel lines. This is a parallel line, this is also a parallel line. Parallel lines are lines that do not meet. Now, and they now said corresponding angles are equal. Now what is corresponding angles? They are pairs of angles in the same relative position at each other intersect where a straight line or a transversal crosses two or more lines. Now this is a straight line and this is where they intersect. This angle here, the angle that forms here, which is x, and if you look at this other side too, a straight line and a straight line too, and it also intersects at what, M, and this is what, an angle M. Now if you look at this diagram very well, this angle and this angle, angle x and angle M, are said to be what, corresponding angles, and they are also said to be what, equal. In a nutshell, the same way y and n, which are what, in the same relative position, are said to be equal also. Y is equal to n, and which we have here, y equal to n, they are said to what, corresponding angles, and they are said to be equal. Now here's the fifth properties of angles, and it says when a transversal crosses parallel lines, alternative angles are equal. Now this is a transversal line, as you can see in the fourth property. Here's a transversal line, and this is two parallel lines that cannot meet. Now they said a transversal line crosses a parallel line, alternate angle. What are alternate angles? They are pairs of angles formed on opposite side. Here is opposite to this side, here is opposite to this side, and they are said to be equal. That means A is equal to D, angle A is equal to what, angle D, and angle B is equal to angle C. Here's an example. Find A. Now when you are given a particular question, you have to identify which of the properties you are going to use to solve that particular question you are given. Now in this particular question you see here, we have a straight line, then we also have what, this area is what, this from here to here, which is an angle A, and from here to here is what, 130. Now recalling back to one of the properties, which happens to be the first, says that angles on a straight line is equal to 180. So that is the property we are going to use to solve this particular question. Now solution. We have A, that says sum of angle on a straight line is equal to 180. That means A plus 130, when you add it together, sum simply means addition, will give us what, 180 degree. Then at this point we are going to collect like terms, which is also called CLT. Now when we collect like terms, A will be here, then we have our equal sign, then this will come like this. We are going to subtract 130 from both sides by writing it this way: 180 minus 130 degree. Then we have what, A is equal to 50 degree. So that will be your answer. So here is going to be what, 50 degree. Here's example 2. They said find C. Now recalling one of the properties that says angle at a point is equal to 360 degree. Now from here to here we have 120 degree. From here to here you have 140 degree. And from here to here we have C. They said find C. Now recalling, they said sum of angle at a point is equal to 360 degrees. So that means when we add all these angles together, we are going to equate it to 360 degree. Then we have 120 degree plus 140 degree plus C is equal to 360 degree. Then you write it: angle at a point. Then when you add this together, we have 260 plus C equals to 360 degree. Then when you collect like terms, you have C is equal to 360 minus 260. Then we have C to be 100 degree. That means this place is 100 degree. Now here's example 3. They said we should find C, D, and E. Now recalling one of the properties that says vertically opposite angles are equal. Vertically opposite angles are pairs of equal angles formed opposite each other when two straight lines intersect, and this is two straight lines, they intersect at this point. Now That means this angle is equal to this angle. So we are going to write it as E is equal to 52 degree and write the reason. Vertically opposite angles are equal. Then since we have found 52 here, we can actually find D by doing it this way. When we close it, we are seeing something like this that looks like angle on a straight line. So we can actually say D plus 52 is equal to 180, angle on a straight line. So we can collect like times from here. We say 180 minus 52 give us D equals to 128. Since D is 128 degree, hence C is also 128 degree. Reasons is because it's what's vertically opposite angles are equal.